Recognizes Mr. Burchett from Tennessee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it needs to be said that the Democrats had those files for 4 years and chose not to do anything with them, and now currently they're obsessed with it. I think that speaks volumes. But thank you all for being here, Mayor. Thank you, ma'am. I was a county mayor. It was the best job I think I've ever had.
Thank you.
And on days like today, I'm sure you're thinking, dadgum, I wished I hadn't run for this office. Should have sold Amway or something. But anyway, I have a couple questions for you, ma'am. President Trump's response to the spike in violent crime in Washington, D.C. lowered the rate of violent crime?
I have already testified to the period of 30 to 34 days. We saw a decrease on top of the decreases that we are experiencing already this year.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. But when you're the 435th most powerful member of Congress, I have to ask those questions again.
Yes.
So just act like you've never heard that, and I deserve a Pulitzer Prize for my questioning. Have the criminal justice policies created by the D.C. City Council led to the spike in violent crime in Washington, D.C.?
In my experience, Congressman, there is not one single thing that you point to when crime goes up, and it's usually not one single thing you point to when crime goes down. So my experience as mayor and as a member of the council before that is to throw everything at it. We look at the laws, we look at our deployment strategies, we look at our prevention strategies until we see results. And that's what we've seen over the last 2 years.
Thank you, ma'am. Why is Mr. Mendelson, why does your council continue to push these soft on crime policies when violent crime apparently has skyrocketed in Washington, D.C. as a result?
Well, I don't agree that we have done that. In fact, in my statement at the beginning, I noted a number of changes to the law that the council.
Yes, sir. Well, yesterday, though, we stepped in and have changed a couple of those laws that we felt like proved that y'all were soft on crime.
One of those was the age of 14. That actually was adopted by Congress in 1970.
Okay. What about the one where they're not allowed to chase someone who has stolen a car?
We revised that law, I believe it was last year.
Yet we had to.
When I say revised it, there were complaints we were hearing from the police chief, and we made changes to that law.
Okay. In your statement regarding oversight efforts, you stated that these bills were a completely unnecessary intrusion on the district's ability to make and enforce our laws because of the recent work that council has been doing to combat crime. Are you aware that juvenile crime in Washington, D.C. has increased every year since 2020?
I don't believe that's correct, but the data, the Attorney General would have the exact data. But I will say that juveniles should not be involved in crime. And that should be the goal of any society, of any community, and that's our goal. We do not want juveniles involved in crime. We want them in school, we want them learning, we want them to have every opportunity to achieve as an adult.
Okay. In 2021, Mayor Bowser requested $11 million for additional funding for police officers. In response, you and your colleagues on the D.C. City Council proposed a compromise package that would appropriate $5 million to police officers and various amounts to gun safety initiatives because, as quoted, because the solution can't solely be more police. Why have you consistently tried to impede the work and support systems for police officers?
Well, we haven't consistently. So that is true about 2020 for the FY21 budget. Every year since then, we have fully funded the request for MPD, for hiring officers, and for paying officers. Just yesterday, we adopted a 13% pay raise for police officers. So I don't agree that consistently. I would also note MPD has a budget of about $500 million. I think it's actually more than that now. So when you talk about $5 million, I don't think that's even 1%. That's 0.1%. But that was 5 years ago.
But you would gladly turn that money back in then?
Well, in my testimony earlier, I noted that we've been asking the federal government every year for reimbursement through the appropriation process for the EPSF, and that the Congress has shorted us a total of $83 million over the last 4 years. So you can ask me about $5 million.
Over the last, how many years?
4.
4 years, okay,
million.
that'd be during the Biden administration. General Schwab, Did I say that right, Schwab? You said kids
You did. You
should
did.
not be
Thank you.
treated as adults. At what age does a kid become an adult?
Under our law, children are considered juveniles until they're 18.
Okay, thank you. And I'm out of time. Again, thank y'all for being here, Mayor.
Thank you.
Pleasure, ma'am.
Thank you.